quite flexible. But now I think we go to Thomas Dahl and hear about this, what you called it, MacGyver experiment with JamKazam. Feel free to take the screen and sound.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we were asked to do a streaming concert for the university in Bergen, and it was started out as something similar to what Jim presented earlier here with a solo performance thing. But we also wanted to try to do a duo thing from 2 locations. And we spent some weeks on trying to figure out how to do that. We tried the sound jack, which was extremely unstable. And after some weeks, we, just as a shot in the dark, tried the JamKazam and found that we got pretty good or decent latency there, down to 20 milliseconds. If it was cabled, of course. Wi-Fi is never in the equation here. So I'm gonna just post some links for you here. This is what I'm gonna talk about. And I'm gonna just show you a short clip from that duo thing. Let's see if I can share the screen. There we go. I guess that's enough. As you can hear, it's decently in time. The sound quality is not fantastic, and it varied very much if we connected video at the same time. JamKazam has a very low level video feed. That's and it can't be exported. So to do a live streaming concert, we needed to send everything in bits and pieces. So the sound went from me to Kjetil Møster, who's the saxophone player here, and he sent the sound via OBS, which is a video editing streaming tool, to a guy at the university who mixed everything. The video feeds goes from cameras on the iPhone via something called Larix broadcasting on a mobile net. So we're not taking any space from the line for broadcasting sound. So I mean, this was a tape together bits and pieces sort of operation, where the final mix was done by this guy at the university, both mixing the sound from JamKazam and 3 cameras on different streams. So it was pretty complex to do, and as you heard, the sound quality is not fantastic and really dependent on a stable line, even though we were connected with a cable. So that's our experience. So it's an experiment with no revolutionary outcomes, just confirmation that we are not under perfect circumstances yet. So I think I'm gonna give the word to my colleague here, Dagfinn, who's talking about what we can do with that in the future. So. There we go. Sorry.
Yes. As I said in my introduction, I have been working with preparing a national project for a super network between all the art and music institutions in Norway. We started to work with this 3 years ago, because in Norway we have the Research Council of Norway has an infrastructure program where they have a call every 2nd year. And in the research infrastructure in Norway, they have forgot about our disciplines. They are mainly focusing on high computing and sharing text data and sharing also images, but mainly PDF. The whole research network of the universities in Norway are based on documentation by PDF files. But in our subject, as we now have also introduced artistic research, which has been recognized as a new research discipline, which is neither research in humanistics or research in science. It has been now recognized as a full PhD degree, and we see that there is a really need for a better infrastructure. So we started to figure out what we could do, and basically we focused first on how we can store tremendous high-resolution audio files, video files on a distributed network powered by Uninet of Norway, which is the Norwegian GIANT member. And we make some calculations, and we found that for doing this, for taking care of all documentation from master and PhD students in all the arts subjects, disciplines, we actually needed 35 petabyte every year. Or petabyte is 1,000 terabyte. And of course, everybody was shocked about this, but we still said that we really need this. And then we come up with the only way to do it is to also have a super high speed network between all the institutions. So we contacted the Uninet Sigma, which is the company that is running the network for all the research institutions and universities in Norway. And they said that we can provide you with a dedicated 40 gigabit per second network. Okay, then we said that, okay, this is really interesting. And then we found out that this could also be used for other things. Because 29 years ago, I was involved in the first MP3 project for the distributed music recording. We set up a really strange setup together with Ulf Holand, who is now associate professor at the Norwegian Academy of Music, where we bundled 36 ISDN lines from the Norwegian Telecom, which gave us about 2 megabit per second. And then we conducted some remote recording sessions with some of the top pop and jazz musicians in Norway. And one of the observers was Arne Norheim, our famous composer, who passed away some years ago. And he said, this is something I want to do. So the year after, he used the same solution to set up a concert between Bergen and Trondheim, which is the distance between those two cities is about 500 kilometers, where he made a special piece where a pipe organ recital by Professor Harald Heilsdal at the Nidaros Cathedral in Trondheim It was transmitted via 12 telephone lines directly to Håkonshallen, here in Bergen, where 4 percussion groups played in the 4 corners of a room, and on this huge screen they could see the organist in the cathedral and listen to the music that was mixed with electroacoustic sounds and drums at the main venue here in Bergen. And of course, this is a long time ago, but we started to think about we should also design this infrastructure for doing this, and we have been aware of Lola for some years. I think this is a solution we also will consider. So now we have developed this concept of this artistic research and innovation infrastructure network as a solution where we also want to offer a place where PhD candidates can actually perform their artistic part of the PhD, where we also can have master concepts from students to be shared and give access to all other universities and conservatories in the network. And we also will use it for then storing all the concepts and master concept that has to be stored by law. We will also rent it out for creative industries. For instance, the Bergen International Film Music Festival that had an online version this year, they have already said they want to use it for storing their concepts. And right now we are in talks with a special unit from that was spin out of the Norwegian Telecom that are also designing a multimedia asset management system so that we can take care of all the media assets in a proper way, following all the international rights that has to be considered. And for this we have also involved the Faculty of Law at our university. Right now, inspired by what Thomas did some weeks ago, we are also then applying for a pilot where we want to do something together with the University of Stavanger and maybe one university outside Europe, where we will get support from a Norwegian media cluster, who is also located here in Bergen, which is a cluster of TV companies, film producers, game developers, and they have said they would like to set up a pilot environment for us. And if we get money for this, which we will know about in 2 or 3 weeks, we will probably do some pilots in September. And of course, I'm really interested to get in touch with Claudio, if you're going to do this, to see what we can also do with Lola to test different use case scenarios relevant for our project. I think I will stop there, and then you can rather ask me questions if you have any questions.
Thank you, Thomas and Dagfinn. Some questions concerning this presentation. This very interesting development that shows the kind of the difficulties of doing this pioneer work, where you have to kind of create everything, perhaps not everything, but compared to kind of normal life and normal ways of dealing with issues, you don't have to come up with so many new solutions when you are trying to solve problems. When you, Thomas, presented this version of reaching low latency with different phases, it's something that I wouldn't like to, as a head of a department, to present to all my faculty as a way to approach next semester. But as a pioneer work, that's so valuable to see that what can be done, and then create more user-friendly interfaces with that, since it's so important also that it would be easy to use. But some other questions from from the participants here, you were at the unhappy place of being between the lunch and so maybe some questions arise since you will be joining one of the working groups where these issues will be then dealt with more detail. If there is no questions for the moment.